walk. So first we did this on our own. Talked about suspending. And we talked about walking. Talked about how to have this light rolling walk that's more straight-legged and upright. Talked about doing it with a partner and going into promenade. And then, so in promenade we talked about a few different variations.
Out and in, and I can stylize with my feet dragging up the inner leg, or I can step out and make my steps different. Because if my weight is over my feet and I'm connected to Benji, we can kind of do whatever we want.
Exactly. And then we have the
yes.
The leg drag across the other leg drag.
Nice.
So then we talked about getting back into close and brace. Talked about
Shutting the door.
leads, closing. We talked about always shutting the door. The easiest we talked about, the easiest form of getting back in is both partners closing the door. From here we went into pivots.
Traveling pivots.
Talked about how the step forward with your left foot is larger than the step back with your right.
You want to show them?
Yes. So forward, back, forward, 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 forward. And you're pivoting on each foot. This makes me really dizzy. Next, talked about arms.
Arms, we did talk
Beautiful
about
arms.
arms. So, I talked about how your rib cage and your sternum can be the inception point for movement. How you can take your rib cage and you can isolate it gently. We started by going side to side, and we sat down on the floor to make it a little bit easier to isolate the rib cage away from the hips. We talked about going side to side and forward back. We talked about expanding forward, expanding to the side with the string, expanding to the back, expanding to the side. We talked about having good posture. It gets way easier when your posture is good. If you let your shoulders hang down, this is a
You have nowhere to swing from when your shoulders are down.
yes, it's also quite uncomfortable. And then we talked about letting the movement that we were initiating in our rib cages come into our shoulder blades, and I'll show you in the back. So that as my rib cage rolls around, my shoulder blades are actually just sliding down. And I can let that movement travel into my arms, like so. Yeah. Watch this shoulder, this one better.
My good side.
And then with that exercise to work on, we talked about how we can put it into a dance. So we can have an entire dance in which we just waggle our arms at each other, if we're into that. Or we can just take an opportune moment to have an arm come out at just the right, musically just the right time.
Right. This comes off more as icing on the cake, not the cake itself.
Icing on the cake.
She just did. All right, let's have everyone dance a song.